Hi everyone, meteorologist Matt Gray. Another edition here of the Brainstorm. Hopefully you had a wonderful holiday weekend as we get ready to close out 2022. It is a lot warmer, it is a lot wetter and rainier, and we have really to kind of thank this storm coming through for helping us warm up in the fashion that we did after being so bitterly cold before we got into the Christmas holiday. So here we go, strong low pressure moving in here as I record this on Monday night and bringing a lot of moisture along for the ride. If you've been around for a while, you probably know this type of weather pattern this time of the year is the Pineapple Express. We call it atmospheric rivers, but take a look at this. So this is a representation from satellite imagery of moisture content in the atmosphere, and you can see the bright colors. Lots of laden moisture extending all the way down to Hawaii. That is where you get that Pineapple Express name. And let me tell you, this is one for sure. We're going to get a lot of wet weather. We are seeing temperatures we haven't seen since November. I think that's a testament to how cold it has been so far this year and this winter season. And this is really going to provide us a lot of changes and also some new and different hazards in our weather. And in fact, we have seen that already as we've gone through the holiday weekend. The bulk of this atmospheric river moisture that is going to make it across the Cascades is going to do so here as we head through Tuesday night, or rather Monday night into Tuesday morning before things start to ease off a little bit. This is midnight on Tuesday on the computer model. Usually when the winds kind of point at an angle where you can get some of that moisture push through the Columbia Gorge, and then it spreads out across the Columbia Basin, eastern Washington, and then rises up in the mountains of North Idaho. That's usually the best recipe for us to get the bulk of this moisture, and that is certainly looks like what we're going to see. By the time we get to the end of Tuesday, cooler, drier air is moving in, but there's still going to be lots of wet weather around. So I want to talk a little bit about how this works. So atmospheric rivers, obviously, you could tell why they're named that when you saw that satellite picture. It's all concentrated into one spot. These stronger winds that ride along with these powerful storm systems, you can end up kind of squeezing everything into a narrow band of moisture, and thus you get the atmospheric river name. Now, this storm that's coming in right now, particularly intense, and so this is going to be a fairly intense atmospheric river with a ton of moisture. They're talking about maybe over 2 inches on the Olympic Peninsula by the time the storm is done, and in some cases seeing about an inch worth an hour on parts of the Olympic Peninsula. So that should show you how much this is, and well, maybe 2 inches for parts of our area on the other side of the mountains. It's going to be a lot more than that. I misspoke there a little bit. So impacts, you get those heavy bands of rain. The mountain lift is a particular problem for the Cascades, why we see so much heavy wet snow, and why mudslide, landslide, and avalanche issues often become a huge problem in the Cascades, much more often than what we see across North Idaho. But we are going to see avalanche potential issues there as well. Now, in particular, because we are going to see so much rain here over the next couple of days, I am a little bit concerned about avalanches and mudslides. When you get all the rain that's on top of the snow, all that warm rain, it goes through all the little cracks and crevices, the air inside that snowpack, and it allows it to melt very quickly. In fact, that rapid melt-off and some snow slides are one of the reasons why Highway 2 through Stevens Pass, as of here on Monday night, it closed at the beginning of the Christmas holiday weekend. It remains closed and looks like it will stay closed for some time. And it would not surprise me if we did see some snow slide issues, even in North Idaho, as that heavier rain begins to work in on top of the snow as we head into Tuesday night. So I want to talk about this a little bit because I do think this is something we're going to be seeing a little bit of as we head over this last week of 2022. So you have saturated soil, you have maybe even some snowpack on top of that. Once that soil gets saturated, it's not going to hold any water. It's going to be very unstable, and that's where you get these snow slide situations, and it takes a lot of rain to do that, but our soils, they can only hold so much. And when you get up into that 1-2 inches of rain here in eastern Washington and North Idaho, that's when you start to reach kind of those carrying capacities if you do that in a very short amount of time, say 24, 36 hours. So this is something to watch out for, especially if you have some backcountry plans later on in the week. Because look at all of this rain that's going to be falling, and most of it is going to be falling as rain. So it is going to soak into the ground, soak through that snowpack, rising creeks and streams around the region as well. So we could even potentially, on some of these smaller creeks, see some washout situations, some of those national forest roads and things of that nature. But you could see a lot of areas, especially in North Idaho, some of the mountains, getting up into that 2, even 3 inches of liquid precipitation range, although some of that at least is going to fall as snow on those highest peaks. So we can take some solace in that. But a lot of places, such as around the Silver Valley, in the Coeur d'Alene Mountains, around St. Mary's, everything flowing into Lake Coeur d'Alene, certainly could see some high water here over the next couple of days. And my goodness, I mean, that is a lot of rain. Remember, in Spokane, we're only average about 14 inches worth of rain for an entire year. So to have 1/14 of your annual rainfall in the span of about a day or two, that is the power of atmospheric rivers. And that is certainly something we have got to watch very closely. Same with avalanche danger at local ski areas. Even though we are going to be cooling down later in the week, and by the time we get to New Year's, we are going to have some pretty good ski conditions in the higher elevations. The avalanche danger is going to remain elevated because you're going to have this crusty layer and this kind of weaker layer of snow, even in places that don't have that melt off because of this rain. So this is going to have a bunch of impacts coming along. Likely going to be small. Likely won't be too many major issues, but certainly some snow slides and some mudslides are something we are going to be watching out for in the days to come, along with probably a lot of standing water as we head through the middle of this upcoming week. So that is just a brief little discussion, atmospheric rivers, and we can thank the Pineapple Express for helping us warm up and get out of that frigid Arctic air and push against that bitter cold. So that is the Brainstorm for this week, the last one of 2022. We'll see you back in 2023. If you like this, give us a like, give us a subscribe on the 4 News Now YouTube page. You can subscribe to the Brainstorm newsletter on KXLY.com. And of course, watch 4 News Now for all the latest breaking news and weather updates to get you through your day, through your week around the inland Northwest. Have a great rest of this year. We'll see you in 2023.